Raymond Ho.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Part 2, Local Government Auckland Transitional Provisions Act includes a number of provisions to fast-track the Auckland unitary plan process, which we support in principle. And Minister M. Adam was correct in saying that it was the Auckland City Council who came to the government and requested the government to consider a legislative amendment to enable the unitary plan to become operative in a shorter time. But what is missing, and I totally agree to what my Green colleagues said and what Mr. Sir William Seal just said, that we find it is difficult to follow the logic in provisions which allow the Minister for the Environment and Conservation rather than the Auckland Council to appoint the hearing commissioner and set their terms of reference. This is undemocratic, and it is an insult to the mandate given to the elected city councillors. Mr. Chair, I'd like to focus on the submissions because it's very important for us to reflect the concerns of those submitters across the board. And overall, we have received 97 submissions relating to the Auckland Combined Plan. Of the 97 submissions, only 9.3% were in support and 14.4% support with amendments, but overall 66% were in opposition. Mr. Chair, the predominant concern held by submitters was with the broad scope of the regulation-making power, including the ability to override parts of the Resource Management Act, and a number of submitters expressed concern the provision is outside the good legislation principles and may be unconstitutional. Submissions also raised concerns that the provision would generate uncertainty and could open the government or minister to lobbying to change the process for preparing the plan midway through the hearing. And several submitters made suggestions as to how to further narrow the scope of the regulation-making power, including a recommendation from, for instance, Victor to insert a new submission, to insert a new subsection restricting the power to addressing unforeseen situations or issues that arise during the preparation of the first Auckland Combined Plan. So, Mr. Chair, it's not about how the national government to introduce legislative changes, albeit how important or desirable those changes are. It is more about the submitters, how to help the national government to remedy the situation everybody is in, courtesy of the unconstitutional practice. Mr. Chair, I'd like to bring to the attention of the House legal opinion by Sir Geoffrey Palmer, and New Zealand Fish and Game Council made available a copy of the very well-researched legal opinion by Sir Geoffrey Palmer. Basically, he summarizes that many of the process-oriented proposals will deliver improvements to the current process under the Resource Management Act with limited impact on environment protection, which is a very balanced view. And more importantly, secondly, the proposed changes to Part 2 will significantly and seriously undermine environmental protection under the Resource Management Act. And these changes are largely unnecessary and will lead to greater uncertainty and cost in the application and interpretation of the Resource Management Act. And more importantly, I think it's very important for everybody to remember the resource management underpins all Kiwi values, and the changes under the current bill destabilize our social perception of what it means to be a Kiwi and to put at risk an economic progressively built on the foundation of a 14 billion 100 pure, clean, green brand. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Members, we come to the vote on Part 2. First, we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOPs number 285 and 324. The question is that the Minister's amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. A party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
In favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 in favour.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
Favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United
1 in
Future.
favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 98, the noes are 23. The Minister's amendments are agreed to. We now have Eugenie Sage's amendments as set out on SOP number 281. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. Party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 in favour.
Green Party.
14 in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 in favour.
Māori Party.
3 opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New Zealand.
1 opposed.
United Future.
1 opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 57, the noes are 64. The amendments are not agreed to. The next amendments in the name of Eugenie Sage are set out on SOP number 283. The question is that the amendments be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The noes have it. So, party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
Opposed.
New Zealand Labour.
34 in favour.
Green Party.
14 in favour.
New Zealand First.
7 in favour.
Māori Party.
Opposed.
Mana.
1 in favour.
Act New
1
Zealand.
opposed.
United
1
Future.
opposed.
Brendan Horan.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 57, the noes are 64. The amendments are not agreed to. The question now is that Part 2 is amended stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
3 in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New
1
Zealand.
in favour.
United
1 in
Future.
favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Members, the ayes are 64, the noes are 57. Part 2 is amended, will stand part. We now come to Part 3. This is clauses 126 to 130 in Schedule 3. The question is that Part 3 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party vote's called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 opposed.
Māori Party.
In favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New
1
Zealand.
in favour.
United
1 in
Future.
favour.
Brendan Horan.
1 opposed.
Members, the ayes are 63, the noes are 50. The ayes are 64, the noes are 57. Part 3 will stand part. We now move to the schedules. The question is that Schedule 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is that Schedule 2 stand part. First, we have the Minister's amendments as set out on SOP. I'm sorry to members, the time has come for me to leave the chair for the dinner break. I shall resume the chair and the voting at 7:30.